So the Saints have finally done it. They just fired Dennis Allen, long overdue, but come on, bro. When you lose to the Panthers in that sort of fashion, I don't care who you are, you deserve to get fired. So as of right now, assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi has been named interim head coach. He's been there since 2021. Who knows, he might give them a spark. I wouldn't be surprised if they won a few games down the stretch here, because in that Panthers game, they out-totaled the Panthers by a lot through the air and the ground. It was really just a brutal, brutal loss, even though they thoroughly outplayed the Panthers, at least statistically. And just kind of a crazy downfall, man. I mean, when the Saints started 2-0 this year, people were talking crazy, easy playoff team. They're going to win the NFC South. I can't remember who said it, but I don't know if it was Colin Cowherd or Bill Simmons, but they compared them to the 2000 Rams. They're just crazy talk. And since then, they've lost 7 straight games, and they're officially 2-7. Dennis Allen finished with an 18-25 record in 43 games as the Saints head coach. Not great, but almost average. So he wasn't horrendous, but he definitely wasn't up to par. Definitely a below average coach. I know he is a pretty solid defensive coordinator, and that's where he got his startup with the Broncos, and then he went on to be the Raiders head coach for a minute, and then he went to the Saints as a DC, and then took over for Sean Payton after he just dipped. Funny enough, this is actually the second time he's been fired mid-season. Like I just mentioned, he was the Raiders head coach from 2012 to 2014, and he was let go after an 0-4 start. And another funny fact, Derek Carr was actually the quarterback for the Raiders back then as well, so I guess some things never change. So yeah, we're officially in rock bottom rebuild territory for the Saints. This was the move. This is always the move. Honestly, it should have probably happened a year ago, to be honest, so long overdue. And the real question is, where do the Saints go from here? There's been talk about the Saints trading Marshon Lattimore. I feel like they should definitely do that. I think they should try to trade everybody on this roster and just start from ground zero. I was surprised that they gave Alvin Kamara a 2-year contract extension about 3 weeks ago, because I just feel like he doesn't fit the team's timeline. He's definitely an older player in terms of his position, and RB is kind of aging fast, so it doesn't really make sense for the Saints to have a player of his caliber on a team that's going to be rebuilding for the next couple of years. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved probably this offseason maybe, or maybe the next trade deadline. But in the meantime, expect Marshon Lattimore to get traded. I like Lattimore. He's definitely had his fair share of injuries. He's definitely past his prime. He was once an elite corner. I still think he could play good ball, but I would like to see him on a championship caliber team right now to see if he could help them out. But yeah, if you're a heavy Marshon Lattimore fan and you're a Saints fan, just prepare to say your goodbyes, and it is what it is, bro. Other bad news for the Saints, Chris Olave suffered another concussion on a hospital pass from everyone's favorite QB, Derek Carr. Now, there's a lot to kind of dissect there in that one play alone. One, with Chris Olave, I feel like he's suffered 4 or 5 concussions so far in his career, and what, he's in year 3 of his career. The dude is an electric playmaker. He can stretch the field out. I feel like he could be a top 15 wide receiver easily if he just had better quarterback play. And the fact that he's put up pretty good numbers so far in his career with the quarterbacks he's been playing with has been really, really impressive. But, it's kind of scary. And even before he suffered this concussion, he was asked about wearing the Guardian cap, and he was heavily considering it. I don't know why he didn't put it on prior to returning this week, but I feel like going forward, he's definitely going to have to. I feel like going forward, he's definitely going to have to put that on no matter what, because it's just scary, man, to suffer that many concussions in a short amount of time. That's just, you're treading into the Tua territory, and that's not a territory you want to be in. So I really hope he gets it together, and to be honest, I hope he gets traded too, because I don't really think a good quarterback is going to come to the Saints anytime soon. I know they could get a high draft pick, and they could get a rookie QB in there, but with Chris Olave's timeline as of right now, I don't know how much he really has left in the tank, and that's crazy to say. The fact that he's such a young player, I kind of just want to see him with a win now sort of team. Like, put him on Buffalo, put him with Mahomes. That'd be crazy if he was with Mahomes, or just someone that's like a playoff caliber team, because I like Olave. I love his game a lot, but you suffer concussion after concussion. You kind of got to ask yourself, like, is it worth it? And funny enough, Chris Olave's brother replied to that exact same question on X, and he said it's not worth it, especially in New Orleans. So I hope he gets moved. We'll see. But prayers up for Olave. Now that the Saints got rid of one kind of big piece that they had to get rid of for a while in Dennis Allen, there's another really important piece that they have to address and get rid of, and that's Derek Carr. Derek Carr just isn't it. I know Mike Thomas went off on him on social media and on X because of the hospital pass he gave Olave, but I think it's all valid, man. I think it's all really valid, and Derek Carr, it just isn't a good quarterback in my opinion. He's a stat patter, especially at the end of the game when his team is down by a lot. And yeah, he doesn't throw great balls, and I'm sure he's a decent guy. I don't think you could win with a quarterback like that, and you just got to get off of that contract somehow. It's not the worst situation in the world. It could be a lot worse. You could have the Deshaun Watson contract or the Broncos Russell Wilson contract from a few years ago. So Saints GM, just get off of that contract, draft a high quarterback, draft a good quarterback in the 2025 class, and just cut your losses, man, because Derek Carr, you gotta get him out of New Orleans, please. If not for me, do it for the Saints fans, because I know Saints fans don't like him. I know he's really hated in the city, and they just got to move off of him. So yeah, we're officially in Week 10. Dennis Allen just got fired. The Raiders' offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, also just got fired. And I feel like it's just a sign of things to come. I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Canales also gets canned at the end of the year. He just doesn't seem really qualified, but who knows? Maybe Bryce Young and the Panthers will go on a little run here and win some games, and maybe he'll be able to coach for at least a couple months into the 2025 year. I don't know. Also, Mike McCarthy, it's just, his days are numbered. It's going to happen. Sure, I doubt Jerry will officially fire him, but they'll just pull a Jason Garrett and not re-sign him. I.e., kind of firing him to a certain extent. I don't know, man. It's just, Cowboys are done, Mike McCarthy's done, and there's going to be a lot of interesting head coaching vacancies in the 2025 offseason. Mike Vrabel, Cliff Kingsbury, Bill Belichick. It'll be very fascinating to see where everyone ends up. The Saints, man, I don't even know where you go from here. Do you go with a defensive coordinator? Do you go with an OC? Do you go with some sort of guy that's been around for a while? If it was up to me, I think you really got to reset the culture in New Orleans. So whatever guy fits that build the most, off the top of my head, Mike Vrabel seems like a guy that would really reset things and, kind of bring the Saints' glory back to the streets of New Orleans, because I just think that city, that team, that franchise needs a cultural reset, but that's just me. Let me know who you think. Let me know who you think should coach the Saints going forward. Who do you think they should hire? What do you think about Chris Olave, Derek Carr, and just the state of the franchise as a whole? Let me know. If you made this far, please subscribe. It'd help out your boy a ton. And that's all I got for right now, man. Peace.